big baseball day for us today.
Oh, man, a huge baseball day for us.
For a lot of reasons. The Mariners are rolling. They've made a trade, and they've got maybe the most important – we say this about every series lately, especially when they get close to 500 or at 500. It's the biggest series. It's the biggest stretch, but we talked about this home stretch with a team they're chasing in the wild card and the New York Yankees in town starting tonight.
A team that's staggering, a team that's lost 10 straight series, including the last one to the Minnesota Twins.
Yep, and you've got the Red Sox and you've got the Mets coming through town, so you got to do some damage if you're going to be considered a real contender, and they're making moves. We've asked the question over and over and over: are they buyers or are they sellers? What are they going to do? Well, they're buying now. Not on a huge scale right now, but you've got a new reliever or potentially a starter, depending on how you want to use David Phelps, who's done both.
This is a huge scale unless they're planning a blockbuster, because this is getting a guy who's they got control over him for a year. Has been an elite reliever for Miami this year. You're right, he started in the past.
I watched him with the Yankees.
Yeah, 91, 92 or something like that. I think it was 91, 92.
91. How old?
2011, 2012. Forgive me.
He's a 49-year-old reliever.
Starting in 11 and 12 for those guys, but has been a very effective long-term reliever. When I was on with Jim yesterday, we talked about our good friend Giovanni Gallardo.
You guys do 2 shows?
No, day before yesterday.
Oh.
When I was talking to her about Giovanni Gallardo, who's been really good as a long reliever, but is also a guy who started, who now you've got him, if you need starting depth, he can theoretically be some of your starting depth. So you've kind of helped your bullpen and your starting staff to a degree. And this is not getting a borderline guy who you hope can turn it around, or a guy who's having an awful year but has been good in the past. This is getting a guy who's having a really good year.
Yeah, not as good as his year last year, but he's got a 3.45 ERA.
Well, if you look at his last 36 games, his ERA is 2.17.
Right.
So he's
just in totality compared to last year.
Yeah, but he's a reliever, so that means he had probably 1 or 2, and you're probably looking it up now. I hope you are. He had one or two bad appearances at the start of the year, because I think from the middle of April or the end of April on, his ERA is about 2.19. So I'm guessing he had a couple of really bad appearances early. But 47 innings, a lot of innings. He's
a couple of rough ones. Those very first appearance of the year, 2 innings, 3 runs, which gave him a 13.50 ERA.
That would be not good.
Then he had some good, didn't really have any real damage till another 2-inning, 4-run effort against the San Diego Padres April 21st. What
was his ERA on April 21st?
8.10.
Yeah, so it's gone. He went 2.19 from that point on to get to. You pointed out 3.45.
Yeah, for the month of April, his ERA was 5.79. That was his, and then the month of May, 0. The month of June, 5.40. The month of July, 1.13. So he's gone back and forth a bit.
Well, he fits.
He does. He strikes out a lot of guys. There's, just in reading, nobody is paying a ton of attention to the Miami Marlins and in their relief.
Not here, for sure.
So just in reading people that have watched him talking about what he does well, what he doesn't do well. Strikes a lot of guys out, some command issues out there at times, but overall an effective guy and a needed guy. I mean, you're using a lot of the same guys over and over and over in your bullpen to an extent that you worry about fatigue. You worry about what are they going to have left in the tank.
Yep.
As you get, if this race continues at this pace where you're in it, you're a game and a half out now in the wild card.
Well, you got 10 games in 11 days right now too.
Yep.
So it's solving an immediate need as well for the aforementioned biggest series of the year, which is that way as long as they're teetering on the brink. I mean, let's keep the home roll going and get a little bit of a lead, and the series are important, but they're not as desperate as they are right now, because we unfortunately, because of the nature of this roller coaster season, we all know what can happen in the next week.
Yep,
they can win six more in a row and make it an 11-game winning streak,
or
get swept.
Yeah,
they've just been that kind of a team. It's been hard to predict. So. One of the things also we talked about with Jim, and I think we mentioned it too, reflecting back on 95 in particular, when the Mariners made a move for Andy Benes, which was the big move that they made. It was the first time they had done a move, and it kind of galvanized the team. They're like, all right, I remember Jay Buhner saying, in the aftermath of it, that one really gave us the sense that the front office had our back.
Well, yeah, it tells you that they believe in you.
Right.
That's what this move, whether it's a huge name or just they made a move to acquire talent.
Should have the same impact.
If you're on that team in that clubhouse, that tells you, all right, they're looking at this season. Yeah, I understand he's under control for next year, but they're making a move right now
to win now.
They're not selling off anybody.
Right.
To this
exactly
point.
Right.
Right.
Exactly right. So it should have a positive impact.
I would say it's a very clear message to those guys, unless they flip around and make some huge deal where all of a sudden Seager's gone and Cruz is gone. Okay, that's different. But
well, sure, if they lose, if they have a rough stretch, you might see something like that.
But this sends the message to the guys in the clubhouse. All right, we're going for it. This is not about as much as this move does translate to next year as well. It's right now. It's right now, and this team believes. Or this organization, this management believes in this team that, all right, we're gonna acquire some pieces, and I assume this will not be the only move, and they're going to continue whether they're huge names or not. They're making moves to bolster what they currently have.
Right.
So
that's the message that's been sent.
Yeah. So it's twofold. You get a chance to help the team on the field, whether it's he's going to be somebody that's used out of the bullpen, you throw him in as a starter, however you use him, he's going to help you that way. But the message I think is almost as important.
Yeah.
To a team that, I'm sure they've heard the chatter. They've heard people like us and fans and people going, are you buying or are you selling? Is Cruz going to get traded? You going to send him out? Or what are they going to do?
Yep.
They're kind of in this limbo of buying or selling. Were they in it? Are they out of it? This tells you that Jerry DiPoto has enough belief that they can make a run this year. Doesn't mean it happens, but he believes they can.
They're buyers.